What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Devil's Details Diecast Wastelands series. Today we have a somewhat interesting build. As you saw in the title, this build is called Two Face. And here we have two pickup trucks, the Dodge D200 and the Matchbox, what do they call this one? The open back truck, which I believe is supposed to resemble a Chevy K-Series, I think. I'm not sure. In any event, I picked these two trucks because they were the closest in height I had, and I didn't feel like adding new wheels and chassis to a build. And they were also the closest in width to each other. And while I'll not reveal right away what I'm going to do with these two, you may have some idea by just the title. But all will be revealed within the build, so you'll have to stick around and see what I do with these guys as we go. I will guarantee that it will always be fun and interesting, as these builds always are. And that's all I'll say. So we will get to stripping these two and getting to cutting them up. So stick around and let's go. So I'm sure most of you smart folks out there could guess what I was going for with the Two Face title, and you were probably correct in that I was going for a two-faced truck. So my thinking here, don't mind the suspension on this Matchbox. That little tab that holds the wheels in is all bent out of shape, so we're going to fix that so it's actually the same height. But right now it's kind of got a dip in the middle, but it should be about the same height once I'm finished. But basically what I'm going for is kind of like the chameleon or the lizard that drops its tail, figuring that this guy can park kind of in a brushy area. Let's say there's like a bush here or some shrubbery, you know, and have his front end sticking out here. And if an attacker comes at him here thinking that, you know, he's in this spot here, he can just take off, or vice versa. Actually not vice versa, because this is going to be, I think, the dummy side, and this is going to be the engine side. I can kind of go both ways right now, but seeing that this has actually, yeah, I can't go both ways because of the transmission. I don't know. I haven't really fully thought it out, as you can tell. I kind of just had the first idea of putting a cab on the back of a pickup, and I use the same wheels on this cab to kind of see, you know, if you looked at it this way, you would think it was just a pickup truck, but we do have a front here. There is a, I think it's an old Studebaker in a couple towns over. It's been there for as long as I can remember, on the side of the road outside of a auto body shop, and it's two front ends stuck together, and I had always loved looking at it as I drove by, and kind of was the inspiration for this build. I know it's been done 100 times with, you know, two ends of a car put together and you don't know which side is what, but thought it'd be cool to do it with a couple of trucks, especially for a Wastelands build. I'm going to use the roll bar from the open back truck, and I'm going to face, excuse me, Jesus, going through my second puberty here. I'm going to face it forward on the Dodge, you know, kind of to make it look like the Dodge is the actual truck here, and then, you know, the open back truck is most likely going to be the main truck. This will also have a lot more room inside, being the quad cab, to house any kind of weaponry or storage or whatever. So here it is out of the stripper, obviously, and melded together. There's the base. I had to cut a little bit more off of the base on this one because of the attachment. I used just some CA glue and the accelerator to kind of make a little plastic weld, and I used some baking soda as well to kind of make a nice strong weld there. Of course, I'll fill in the bottom here with some piping or some, you know, supports to obviously give it a little extra beef. But there it is. There is the start of the Two-Faced Wastelands build. I'm sure, like I said, you guys guessed it, and we'll continue on building, so stay tuned. You know, A lot of guys ask me in the hobby why I don't show a lot of work in progress video clips and such like that, and I feel like I'm not doing anything to break the norm of these builds. The Wastelands builds probably could show a little more work in progress, but I'm literally just kind of gluing and sticking stuff on to to my liking and to things that I think look good. I think there is, contrary to popular belief, overdoing things and just kind of throwing everything at a build and seeing what sticks. Even though they are Gaslands and Wastelands builds, you can, do things that kind of look, I hate to use the word stupid, but stupid. So what I figured I would do with this build is build as I go normally, and before I get to the primered level and all the weathering, I would show you what I have. There will be more going on this build after the paint, but so far I'm pretty happy with what we have. This is all going to be, I usually primer in a flat black, so all this is going to be uniform flat black, and that's where I would start weathering from. So I did decide that this is going to be the lead truck, and this is going to be, for lack of better terms, the dummy truck. I do have a gun on the dummy truck here. It's going to have some wiring for remote control to the cab. It's going to be people in the cab kind of operating that. As they're driving away, they can kind of lay down some suppressive fire. My thinking with this one is this is just going to be a couple of buddies who are just trying to survive in the Wastelands. They're not any kind of specialists. They're not any mechanics or anything like that. They're just a couple of buddies who had a couple of trucks, decided to put their resources together and make one big truck, one big land truck, I guess you could call it. And they don't have all kinds of weaponry. They do have some small arms that they're going to keep on their person, and if shit hits the fan, they're going to be able to jump out of the cabs and take care of it that way. But they did figure out a way to mount a gun to the back using some metal tubing to extend it, and I don't know, it's a little far-fetched, but it is the Wastelands, like I said, so we'll use a little bit of imagination here. But in any event, it's not going to be a heavily armed vehicle with all kinds of machine guns and flamethrowers and all that crap. It's just going to be two dudes and maybe their families or their friends just trying to survive in the apocalypse with their trucks. They got spare tires, they got gas, and everything else. And that's it for now. So we're going to go ahead and throw this in some primer, and then we'll probably have the reveal. So stay tuned. And if you remember, this is what we started with. 2 Matchbox pickup trucks, the D200 and the open back truck, chosen for their similarities in height and width. And here's what we came up with. And here is the monstrosity I'm calling Two Face. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know I normally don't use a turntable for my Wastelands reveals, but I felt that it was hard to pick a side to show for this build. So here it is in all its glory. I'll try to go through some of the parts here. I've decided that the red power wagon here, don't mind my weathering fingers, I just got done pretty much painting this, but the red power wagon is going to be what we call the decoy vehicle. This vehicle will be manned by somebody just using the remote controlled power gun in the back, and will have no transmission or anything, just going to be a loose transmission, well, loose wheels in the front or in the back, so it's going to have no power here. It's going to be pretty much like a trailer. And the open back truck here, the Chevy, I believe they are modeling those after, will be the pull truck, for lack of better terms. I know most of you are probably thinking that the Dodge Power Wagon should have probably been the pull truck, but a couple of things I chose, for the reason I chose that, is the open back truck had a more square back and actually had a bigger bed, and I think just worked better. And again, like I said in the beginning of the video, the Power Wagon had more storage, so I liked the fact that they could fit more stuff in the Power Wagon as a storage bay, and just use the front truck as a driving truck, a couple of guys in the front or whatever. Of course, they're loaded down with a bunch of supplies. They got an old roof here from, not sure what that was from, but let's just say an old Pontiac or something. Stole a roof there and made a safety visor on the front. And, they tried to make it look like this truck was the front with the front-facing lights and the antenna and the roll bar. So again, if they were parked somewhere in camouflage, they could use that as a mimic, if you will, and get away easily. And like I said, still have some firepower. Sorry for the blurriness. Still have some firepower to shoot out the back and get away through the front. I did a little bit of a different paint job with this one here. Let me get it off the turntable and just kind of get a little bit of a down angle on this. Plus it should be less blurry. I did a little bit of a different paint job on this one. I ran out of black primer, so I did it in gray primer, and then I hand painted it all in black. I didn't show you guys that. I probably should have shown that step, but I brush painted it all in black, and then I did my rust first. So if I would have showed it to you guys, it would have been just black with all rust, and it looked very bright and full of rust. And then I went in and did all my colors. So I made basically a blue truck out of this one and a red truck out of this one. So after I did all my rusting, I went back with a little bit more of a solid color for each truck and kind of hit up where the black still showed through with the color. So there's blue there. It's a little hard to see. Camera's probably showing a little bit bright, but if I took the light off, you can see a little bit more red and blue in the trucks. We got a big old gas tank there on the back of the Dodge. Got some sleeping rolls, bag rolls there, a little trunk on the top. Again, those LED lights. Got the back of an old pickup truck here as some defense for the back of a car. Spare tire. Got a little bit of a deer skull there, and of course the obligatory human skull on the front for the Wastelands builds. So I hope you guys enjoyed following this one along. Sorry I didn't show more of the painting. I'm going to try to get better on that, as I've said it all along. I just get involved with these, and it's hard to turn on the camera and, remember to do all that while I'm knuckles deep in painting. So, in any event, like all my Wastelands builds, this is available on eBay. Link is in the description below. So if you'd like to own this, you can go ahead over there and bid on that. Otherwise, we'll catch you later. Stick around for some glamour shots also at the end. Be well.